So that was like a shock to me, and I realized that um, nothing is as it seems, right? Just because I have this idea of Buddhism, it doesn't mean it exists, even among Buddhists. Well, anyways, from there I went to Taj Mahal, right? And I want to talk to you about this because it all comes back to that stories and reality. When I went to Taj Mahal, I realized that lots of Indians, right, and tourists, they were fascinated by it. You know, it's a pretty building, right? And I got upset because what I'm reading, 20,000 slaves worked there for 25 years or whatever, and the king um, cut the hands of the architects who built it, so they won't build anything like it. And so pretty much the king was a horrible person, right? And he wasted all the gold to bring some marbles, which are stones, to build this thing from like Persia or Turkey or India or I mean all over the world, right? Brought all these architects, wasted all this money. In case, I mean, he could have built schools or hospitals or something that's good for the people instead of building this nonsense building just for a tomb. So, anyways, a couple other things India, made me question and think about what's good and bad and what is what's going on in the world, and then why do these people have perceptions and stories about these things which I could see through, right? I can see through the things. I've been I don't know if it's a curse or a gift. I always have another question after a question. So there's always there, I don't buy into these stories, pretty much. Let me put it that way. So what philosophy did for me was, you know, since I'm surrounded with all these stories that pretty much, um, um, try to make me part of the system, right? And appreciate what is good and keep me away from what's not good, and control me by my desires, by creating desires, right? Um, so which Buddha talked about too, like um, suffering comes from your attachments and your desires and so on and so forth. Anyways, so I'm questioning all these stories, right, in our civilization, and I'm not buying these, right? What philosophy did for me was to give me an outlet, like give me some ideas to question deeper, to go beyond the um, curtain, and pretty much like the famous allegory of the cave by Plato, right? I realized I was just a prisoner in a cave and watching all these, stories on the shadows, right? And I'm thinking, oh, this is what reality is, right? All these stories that I've been told while I'm growing up. Like, let's say my knowledge on World War II is purely based on stories that I read on books or from people on the TVs, but in none of I wasn't there, so I don't know, right? None of it is my personal knowledge, right? I didn't experience it. It was stories. So every story has a teller, and every teller has a motivation, right? So what philosophy did for me was to try to break down those um, motivations for me, and pretty much like Foucault, right? And I don't know much about lots of philosophy, right? I just read some, just a little bit. But what Foucault did for me, which I just read him just a little bit, it breaks down our civilization and tells us, and in kind of in a way that shows us that everything was for a purpose. All these stories and all these ideas have a purpose to control us, and to make us feel a certain way and do certain things, and um, you know, pretty much population control, right? So it gave me an outlet to discuss this thing in a way. You know, there's not many people I could discuss these things with. So when I'm reading Fourier, right, for example, and I love your videos, right, 84 videos, and I hope you continue for chapter 3 and 4, which is a very hard read for me, so it really helped me out. But anyways, like in Fourier, you know, it talks about all this knowledge that we've been fed, right, all these stories we've been fed, and that we've been, you know, pressed just by these stories, right? So it all makes sense. So, okay, at this level of our existence, you know, in our civilization, everything is an idea, right? Everything around us that we built, first we thought about them, and then we built it. And the system that we built is also built because of ideas we have. And philosophy gives me hope because it, you know, we can question these ideas. We can question what they do for us, and if they are really good for us or not as a civilization. And are they helping us being more human? Are they helping us being, you know, more positive, going through a better future, like a utopia, right? Or is it gonna destroy us? Are we gonna destroy our Earth, right? With this taker mentality, right? That Daniel Quinn talks about, this taker mentality, right? Colonize, like the virus, right, in the Matrix. You know, we go colonize, we change everybody, convert everybody, slave them, make them work, tell them they're stupid and idiots, and, you know, take all these resources, and until when, right? So anyways, it gives me hope because it enables us to question those things that we took for granted because we were brainwashed, and that we can, there's a chance we can question them, just like Socrates or Buddha says, right? We can question things like Foucault and Fourier, and we should be open to change. And that's my story, right? Man, the storyteller. I hope you enjoy it, and let me know, anybody else that watches this video, you know, give me a feedback, see what you think. And one thing I just wanted to mention was, another thing that makes us very human is deception. And we're masters of deception at every level. And that all these ideas that they tell us is full of deception, and then philosophy is the only way to kind of question what kind of deception we've been through by other people, and also if we ever do self-deception, right? And I would love to have your take on deception and self-deception, Dr. J. I hope you make a series of what deception is and what is self-deception. Merry Christmas, everybody. Happy belated birthday, Dr. J. Take care.